Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I have some affectionate friends. Yes, we have the affectionate friend. Oh! Affectionate friends down below. Alright, let's go ahead and start out with a morning word. And then we're going to maybe do a little recap and a short reading for part 10 of Exodus. Part 10 of Exodus next. Let's begin. In the name of Allah, most great, most gracious, most merciful. Alright. This is Surah 18, line 12 from the Surah Al-Kahf, or the cave, which we have talked about in the recent past. Let's go ahead and write this. Surah 18, line 12. This line reads, "Then we roused them in order to test which of the two parties was best calculating the term of the years they had tarried." Alright, so we're getting back into that little narrative that we discussed. About the youths that went off to the cave in order to just be in God's presence alone. They didn't want to be a part of the world. They retreated to the cave just so they can be a part of God's presence. Two parties was best at calculating the term of the years they had tarried. Before this, it says, "Then we drew a veil over their ears for a number of years in the cave so that they heard not. Then we roused them in order to test which of the two parties was best at calculating the term of the years they had tarried." So this is the youths. So just based off of this line alone, a lot of people were arguing how many youths were in the cave, and they were arguing about the amount of people there. But just with this line alone, it almost seems like two, right? Which of the two parties? And of course, parties can include multiple people, but it seems just like it was two beings, right? But anyways, let me just look up a quick reference word here. They were tested to see who was better at keeping track. In, like, we've been talking a lot about sensory deprivation, right? Sensory deprivation was a thing. People would just go off and be on their own. People did live in caves. We've read of, I think, just about one instance where a family went and lived in a cave. So it was a thing. And the definition of tarry is to stay longer than intended, delay leaving a place. So that is the case for these individuals in the cave. They stayed, I think, 300 years. God woke them up, and they were trying to determine how long they were there. So with all these sensory deprivation things, their eyes and their ears, everything is kind of sealed off from the outside world. They're supposed to determine how long they have stayed. Very interesting. Makes me think about, like, past lives. How long have we been put on this earth? How many times have we been reincarnated before? And yes, it takes a lot of remembrance, and we talk a lot about the Akashic records. This is a term being thrown around a lot lately, Akashic records. So you can actually access your Akashic records and go back, Akashic, A-K-A-S-H-I-C, Akashic. So it's a compendium of universal events. So we have this knowledge inside of us, and it only takes us to go ahead and open it up and to access it, and the Lord, of course. If once God comes in your life, then there's really no escaping this knowledge and this wisdom. It says, once you've been meditating for 5 minutes or longer, you may be able to access the Akashic records interesting. It says, request permission by asking aloud or silently. I am seeking information about my past lives. And mind you, I have not done this. I have not, did this meditation request in the past, right? In the past, I've never, taken that step. I didn't even know really about anything to do with past lives, or I didn't know I was supposed to know certain things. But once God entered my life, once Spirit entered my life, it all came flooding back, Again, little by little, one by one, things just started to fill in, and things just started to come together and make sense. It wasn't overwhelming because it happened so naturally, in such a natural order. Certain things were overwhelming, but I tried not to let that consume me altogether. But yes, this is kind of what this is reminding me of here. You're trying to best calculate the term of years or the many lives that you've lived here on earth, but of course this is in reference to the narrative of those being sensory deprived in the cave. So we can equate that also to like meditation, how meditation is supposed to be a form of sensory deprivation. You're not really supposed to be thinking of everything. You're supposed to seal off your senses when you meditate. That is the best and most effective way to do so. So without rambling too much further, we're going to go into our part 10 of Exodus. It's going to be very short. We are just going to figure out what the Lord is doing next, right? He's instilled some of these laws, which we will kind of we'll kind of discuss. But we're talking about what he's planning for. Why is he, making these people? Why is he molding them into the people that he wants them to become? And we'll learn about why that is. All right. Peace.